What is up, and welcome back to another video. As you guys know, my name is Dallin Anderson, and today we are going to be finding lasting freedom and true liberation. Or it might be the other way around. I can't remember exactly what I put as the title. So yeah, how to find lasting freedom and true liberation. So we're going to be talking about a few different things that can help you guys do that and really take yourself to that place where you're living a life where you feel like you might be bound spiritually, you might be trapped, you might be feeling like you don't know what your purpose is, you might be feeling a lack of motivation. So you're kind of at this low place and you want to be in a place where you feel liberation, where you feel peace, where you feel energy, focus, purpose, and yeah, spiritual freedom and true liberation. So yeah, let's get started here today. Okay, how to find lasting freedom and true liberation from suffering. So number one is seek truth. Okay? Number one is seek truth. Now, we can seek truth in a lot of different ways, but there's 3 ways we're really going to be talking about today that are useful for seeking truth that I personally use in my life. I know that they work, and I think you guys could get a lot of value applying in yours. So, seek truth. So the way that we seek truth, we're going to talk about 3 ways to seek truth in today's video. And these 3 ways work really well. So, seeking truth is number 1. And the way that we seek truth, the way that we actually address the first one on our list here, is through prayer and meditation. Prayer, meditation. Okay, so through prayer and meditation, we obtain truth. Because really the source of all truth is God. And so if we want to obtain truth, then we need to figure out ways to connect to Him. And through connecting directly to Him, we're going to obtain truth, because all truth comes from God. So it seems really simple, seems straightforward, but how many people practice daily meditation? Very few people. In fact, out of people that I personally know, I almost really only know maybe a handful, a couple people that practice daily meditation in today's world. And you'd think that more people would. It truly can heal you. You know, it can connect you to God. It can help inspire truth, help cultivate truth in you. And so even though prayer and meditation sounds like such an easy thing, because really the habit isn't easy to build at the start because it's different. You're not doing it. And anytime you have to switch from a pathway that's easy to take, because it's kind of worn down like a sled hill. If you go down a sled hill, the same spot every time, it leaves a track in the snow. So building the habit of prayer and meditation daily might be hard because you haven't been doing it. So it's like your body, your mind is stuck in that groove where you go to try to practice meditation, prayer, and the problem you run into is that it's hard. It feels difficult. It feels not easy to do. And that's because that pathway you have created was not meditating, not praying. That's the mental pathway. That's where the sled has gone down that hill so many times, there's a groove there. So that's why, even though it's one of the simplest things ever, try to find people that consistently meditate. And maybe you have friends that do, maybe you know more people that do, but this is rare. This is like maybe 1% of people. I don't know the actual percentages, so don't quote me, because they're probably definitely wrong. But a very small percentage of people meditate. So yeah, prayer and meditation is one of the fastest ways to find truth, discover truth, obtain truth. And even though it's not going to happen all at once, it's a habit that has to be built, that has to be cultivated, that has to be important to you. Over time, you'll get better and better at the process of meditation, the practice of meditation. You will obtain truth easier and easier as time goes on. It'll be easier for you to connect to that place where truth is, where you can just find it. So yeah, prayer meditation. This is really powerful. I wish more people would practice it. Okay. By the way, you guys, when I started practicing prayer and meditation daily, my life changed completely. Just everything about my life. Now, it wasn't instantly, and I don't want you guys to think in your minds, okay, I'm going to sit down, and if I sit down after 5 minutes of meditation, my life is going to be forever changed. I don't want you to think that. But over the years of consistent and dedicated meditation practice, my life did change. It improved dramatically over time. So really, really powerful tool at everybody's disposal. And it's not that hard to meditate. If you want me to make a video about how I meditate, let me know, and I will. But you could just sit down for 5 minutes. Don't try to do anything special. Just sit down for 5 minutes every day. Just like if you were to go out in nature and sit down and listen to the birds. You just sit down. Don't think too much about it. So yeah, meditation, prayer. The other way is through study. And this isn't just any kind of study, this is good books. Because newsflash, there are bad books out there that aren't really worth your time to listen to read, to study. Books that will just waste your time. Books that are full of things that will actually slow you down spiritually. So studying good books is a great way to connect to God. It's a great way to seek truth. It's a great way to know truth, to obtain truth. And, you know, one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. So if you want a book where you can just say, okay, well, you're telling me to read good books, Dallin, but what good books should I read? As a Man Thinketh by James Allen is probably at the very top of my personal list. It's my favorite book of all time. So definitely check it out. And I definitely think that if you read it, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to grow a lot as a person. But also, you know, there's tons of good books out there. Anything that has truth in it is going to be worth your time, especially if it's abundant. It's abundantly filled with truth. And you can find those books. I promise you. Another one is Happy Money by Ken Honda. Another one is the Holy Bible. If you go read about Jesus Christ in the Holy Bible. And you're going to learn a lot about how to practice wisdom, how to love your enemies, how to really, you're going to learn a lot about truth in the Bible, the Holy Bible. And, you know, I a lot of people miss that because in today's world, people just kind of fear. They just think, oh, well, the Bible is just some story or whatever. And so they look over it, they skim past it, failing to recognize that it's full of truth. And I myself am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So I also love to read in the Book of Mormon. But, you guys might not be. You might be not religious at all. You might be associated with a different faith. So, seek those books out. But those are a few I personally read consistently to not only seek truth, but to gain truth, to obtain truth. So yeah, books, good books is one of the best ways to seek truth. And seeking truth is one of the best ways to liberate yourself from suffering. Because ignorance creates suffering. Like the source, not the only source, but yeah, ignorance creates suffering. If you're ignorant of the way reality works, you're going to be experiencing a lot of suffering. If you don't understand that forgiveness is one of the most important things you could ever do as a person, and you're always holding resentment towards people, you're going to experience a lot of unnecessary suffering. And the craziest part of all is that person that you're not forgiving probably doesn't even know. Like, they probably don't even think about it. And you're here suffering for no reason. So, yeah, seeking truth and understanding is a great way to reduce suffering. So, study good books. Number 3 on our list for seeking truth, you guys, this is all just under the category of seeking truth. Because we're talking about 3 things you can do today to, 3 things you can do over your life, but you can start them today to free yourself from suffering, to experience spiritual liberation and freedom. And so that first thing that we're doing is to seek truth. And these are the kind of under categories that we use to effectively do that, right? So the last one under seeking truth. Oh, and by the way, you guys, there is an order that these are in. You'll notice that the order starts with prayer and meditation and then goes to books. This is because I believe personally that prayer and meditation is actually a more effective way than reading. And I'm not saying that reading isn't useful. I read every single day. I love to read. I'm falling in love with reading over time. Actually, because of my meditation, I've been able to focus better, read better, understand the books I'm reading better. So yeah, books are amazing, but I do put prayer and meditation up at the top for a reason, because I personally, in my own experience, can read better because of my meditation. Like, it's easier for me to read because I meditate every day. So if you're struggling with focus, if you're struggling with getting into books, if you're wondering why you're not getting much out of your books, it could be that you're not practicing prayer and meditation enough, and so then you're having a hard time studying good books. You can't focus. You got to train yourself to be able to focus better. So, last but not least, under seek truth, the third thing we do to seek truth is to observe reality. Okay? So, a lot of times people forget this. They take something to be true at face value, or not at face value. They just take it to be true automatically. Like, for example, if I tell you that eating apples every day keeps the doctor away, a lot of people will just start eating apples every day, assuming, well, actually, a lot of people won't. But let's say they did. If they eat apples every single day, and then 6 years later, they wonder why the doctor is still not kept away, and they're like, why isn't this working? Well, you didn't observe reality. You needed to eat apples every day over the period of 20 years and see if you're going to the doctor more or less than before you started eating apples every day, right? Test things out for yourself. Okay, don't just believe me that prayer and meditation will help it so you can study books better. Start practicing prayer and meditation every day, 5-10 minutes, whatever you have time for, and come back to me later, 10, 20 years, 5 years, and after observing whether that worked for you, then you can say, okay, this is true for me. This works for me. So observing reality really does work. Like, if I didn't observe reality, I would have stopped prayer and meditation, because sometimes other people will tell you, hey, why do you believe in God? Why do you meditate? Nothing against these people specifically, nothing against them as people, but sometimes people will try to get you to stop doing something, either out of ignorance or whatever. And when they try to get you to stop doing that thing, if you haven't observed reality to see that it works for you, to know that it is true, then you might let the opinions of other people sway you in a direction that isn't going to be helpful. So you yourself need to observe reality and say, okay, this thing is true. It doesn't matter what this person says. It doesn't matter what if there's a day that I don't want to do it. It doesn't matter any of those things, because I know through observation of reality that this thing works, that meditation works, that prayer works, that reading good books works. So observe reality. This is what scientists do. They take the evidence that they have and they observe reality based on what they're discovering. And sometimes people do it incorrectly, but that's really because the person themselves has probably let something blind them from the truth. Because if you're really practicing daily prayer and meditation, your ability to observe truth will actually increase. So you'll see truth more accurately. And so, if you're observing reality through a distorted lens, that's where prayer and meditation is at the top of this list, because this fixes your lens. This retunes your body to that place where you see correctly, you see accurately, and you see clearly. So this is all in a specific order for a reason. Because prayer and meditation increases your ability to study good books and read and learn. And as a result of that, reading and learning helps you observe reality more accurately, because now you have all this knowledge. And your prayer and your meditation not only helped you read your books, but it also helps you observe reality more accurately, because your lens is clear, like a clean camera lens that doesn't have a bunch of muck on it. So you can observe reality clearly, accurately. So this is number one. This is seek truth. Again, seeking truth is one of the most powerful ways to free yourself from suffering and to experience spiritual liberation. So, because truth dispels darkness or illusions. So if you have truth, then a lot of the things that are causing unnecessary suffering will leave. So seeking truth is really, really key here, you guys, for the process of freeing yourself from suffering. It's very key. Okay, all right. So next on this list is actually to discipline yourselves. Okay, so number 1 is seek truth. Number 2 is to discipline yourselves. And in today's world, I already can see people's comments and being like, "Oh, discipline, who are you? Do you think that it's a good thing to..." Oops. Let's see here. Do you guys think it's a good thing to whip your kids or to spank your children? And I can already see in today's world people getting all worked up over the fact that I'm using the word discipline, because there's a lot of people out there that are really just scared of the word discipline because, whatever reason, society, whatever. And yeah, I don't advocate hurting people or yourself, right? Don't do anything like that. But the discipline I'm talking about today is self-discipline, right? Controlling yourself. If you're out partying every single day, and you have no purpose in life, and you're just drinking alcohol, you're smoking weed every day, all day long, like you don't have any purpose in your life, and you're just choosing all these different things, yeah, of course you need discipline. You're never going to get anywhere living that lifestyle. And I'm not saying that you have to be completely free from making mistakes. Like, you're human. You're going to make mistakes. That's part of the process of learning what you need to discipline yourself on better. So it actually gives you valuable information. If you make a mistake, you can go, "Oh, that's clearly an area in my life where I don't have discipline. I need more of it." So be thankful when you see that. Okay, so discipline yourselves. So, what this consists of is obviously don't be mean to yourself, right? Like, don't sit there and sit down and be like, "All right, Dallin told me to discipline myself, so I'm gonna smack myself with my fist or something because I've been bad today." No, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to other people. That's not the kind of discipline I'm talking about. That's actually the opposite of the kind of discipline I'm talking about. Okay? That's a lack of self-control. A lot of people, the reason the word discipline is so scary is because a lot of people use the word discipline when they lose self-control and they decide to smack their kids with a spoon on the butt or something, instead of the fact of using discipline in the sense of being controlled, actually controlling your temper, controlling your, right? So that's kind of, and we're not going to get into a whole philosophical debate about all of that, right? Okay, that's not the purpose of today's video. But just to clarify, disciplining yourselves is controlling yourself, like self-control. So the first, the first aspect of this, the first aspect of disciplining yourselves is control your thoughts and actions. Control thought and action, okay? And action. So our actions stem from our thoughts, like I said earlier. Definitely check out As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. James Allen is, I'll just show you the book real quick here. So I have a whole pile of books over here, whole pile of books in my room. And that's really because I've been reading a lot more lately. As I said, I'm able to read better because of meditation. So this little book right here, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, it's so small, you can see here, almost nothing as far as, like, you can read this so quickly if you're good at reading. If you're not good at reading, you can still read it fairly fast. It's pretty small, right? So this book, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, it talks about how our thoughts create our actions. So if we did something wrong, there's part of us that thought that it was either okay to do it or that we wanted to do it even though we didn't think it was okay to do. So the seed thought of us planting that seed led to the action, right? So when I say control thoughts and action, these two are interweaved together. Like they're kind of bound together because your thoughts will become your actions if persisted in. If they persist, they will become your actions. So being self-disciplined is controlling your thoughts and your actions, right? You want to keep yourself morally clean. In a world where people have abandoned morality completely in a lot of cases, where right and wrong is just some relative thing where just anybody can decide what's right for them, which is not true, then controlling your thoughts and actions and deciding to be morally upright in your thoughts and your actions is rare. It's almost like how I was saying meditation. A lot of people don't practice it. Guess what? A lot of people don't keep their heart clean, their mind clean. They allow themselves to think things that are bad, that are not wholesome, right? That are things that aren't good. Like imagine, there's clean water and there's muddy water. So you have clean water, muddy water. And really controlling your thoughts and actions is deciding to be the clean glass of water. You're just deciding that instead of being a glass of water that's filled with mud, that's filled with all kinds of defilement, right? What did Jesus Christ say? He said to keep yourselves unspotted and undefiled. So defilement is like, imagine this water, but instead of it being all clean here, it's like all green because it's full of moss and algae and dirt. And those are all kind of natural things, right? So whatever, but let's pretend that this green stuff is actually maybe like a radioactive acid or something that's bad for you, okay? Like where if you drink this glass of water here that's dirty, or let's use the word, where did I put under my book. Let's use the word, not dirty, let's use the word defiled, if I can spell it. Here. I'm sure I can. Defiled. Okay. So let's say this is your those are defiled thoughts and actions, things that are wrong, things that everybody, there's certain things pretty much everybody agrees are wrong. And if they don't, then they have done what we talked about earlier, which is destroying their perception of reality so it's distorted or they can't see things accurately. But yeah, there's defiled people, or there's defiled thoughts and actions that most people will agree will be wrong. Like hurting somebody, right? I don't think anybody wants to see you hurt another person, especially without cause. Like maybe if somebody's coming to steal something from your house, hurt your family, maybe, self-protection or whatever, But most everybody agrees nobody wants to see anybody hurt someone else, right? You don't want to see people bully. So that would be defilement, to bully others, to think thoughts that are bully type thinking to other people. And then being clean is obviously being pure. Okay? So this is what you want to be. You want to be that pure water that's just perfectly clear. That's what you want to be. You don't want to be the defiled, dirty, messy, worldly water. You want to be this clean, heavenly, when I say heavenly, I mean like harmony, like clean, like pure. That's what you want to be. So controlling thoughts and actions is a great way to do this. Sounds simple. It is simple. Truth is always simple and easy to understand. But yeah, you definitely want to be on the side of pure rather than defiled. You choose that yourself over time. So yeah, that's kind of what I want you guys to think about when you're thinking controlling thoughts and actions. Okay, we're going to erase this so we can write the other things under disciplining yourselves. So another thing under discipline yourselves is eat healthy food. Oops. Eat healthy food. Okay. Also, this is not just diet, like physical diet, even though I put physical diet. This could also be spiritual diet, like what you're watching, what you're listening to, who you're around, again, your thoughts, your actions. But yeah, we're going to focus on physical diet. So if you're eating healthy food every single day, you're going to feel better, You are what you eat, right? Your body takes every single thing that you put into it and converts it into living cells, converts it into nutrients, converts it into or extracts the vitamins and nutrients and stuff out of it. Your body takes the essence of what you ate and you become that essence. So if you're eating food that was made really quickly, processed, there's no real love put into it, it's just a factory. And I'm not saying you can't ever go get a McDonald's hamburger, or whatever, but I am saying, like, you guys, eating healthy, you will become what you eat. So, you want to eat good food, find the highest quality meats you can. Find the best meat. Find the highest quality eggs. Get good ingredients. Whatever you put into your body will become an output later. So if you want to have success in your life, spiritual liberation, freedom, free from suffering, good, clear mindset, then what you input into your body will output. So input good things, input healthy food. You're going to output a stress-free life. You're going to output feeling good. You're going to output being healthy, actually healthy inside of you. And like I said, what is an input will become an output. So eating healthy food is definitely on the list here for good reason, because you are going to become what you eat. All right? And also, another thing with eating healthy food, sometimes people indulge too much in food. So you could have a gluttony problem where you're eating too much food. And that could be a problem too, where your body is trying to digest more than it needs to. So that can affect your energy levels. And if you're kind of in a deep pit where you've been eating unhealthy food for a long time, start with small changes. Don't try to shock yourself. Just try to get healthier sources of fat. Try to get healthier sources of meat. Try to get healthier sources of eggs. Try to eat less Pop-Tarts and Top Ramen, right? Just make changes that you don't have to go vegan. You don't have to go keto. You don't have to go, just try to eat a balanced, healthy lifestyle, you know? And that's going to be reflected in your spiritual life. That's going to help free you from suffering and from, it's going to help bring spiritual liberation. So it's pretty straightforward. Okay, number 3 on this list of things under disciplining yourselves is to, let's go ahead and clear this off. Number 3 on the list here is to exercise, okay? And I'm putting this on the list here. Let's see, exercise. And I'm putting this on the list here. These ones aren't as much in specific order, but they kind of are. Like, if you start eating healthy, you're probably going to have better thoughts. But if you have better thoughts, you're probably going to start eating healthy. So these ones are all of this stuff is interconnected, right? Because as humans, our lives are interconnected. When we do one thing, it affects everything else we do. So, these are just naturally interconnected. So, exercise is a great way to discipline yourself. And for me, exercise kind of just helps keep me moving, keep me with like a good, healthy mindset about myself, helps keep me healthy, obviously, keep me in shape where I can actually move without feeling like it's hard to. Because if you sit around all the time, your body gets used to that. And if you're not moving, you're not vibrant, you're not going on walks, you're not riding your bike, you're not, doing whatever, then you're probably going to get stagnant, like stagnant water. Stagnant water gets moss, it gets leeches, it slows down. But flowing water is clear, it's clean, it's fresh. So exercise helps keep kind of, like if you imagine your body, which it mainly is water, then if you keep it moving, then it kind of keeps it healthy, keeps it flowing. So exercise is a great way to discipline yourself. And I love exercise. I'm kind of a hypocrite for putting this on here today because I haven't been to the gym in like 3 months because 3 weeks, maybe 2, because my subscription ran out. Like I just wasn't able to re-sign up yet. So I haven't been there. And I've been riding my bike like once or twice, trying to go on walks and stuff a little bit to keep the habit. But this is one I myself need to work on. So at the beginning of today's thing, we talked about observing reality. Well, if I'm going to observe my own reality, I need to exercise more right now. Haven't done it enough for the past 3 weeks. But I'm still putting it on the list because it's true. Right? I could put all these things on the list, and even if I'm not doing them very good, you can still do better than I am. If you do these things better than I am, you're going to be probably in a better place than I am. And I'm pretty happy, pretty grounded, I feel really happy. So, exercise is a great way to discipline yourselves, great way to reduce your suffering. You are what you eat. It is true. Both spiritually, physically, if you're reading good stuff, if you're listening to good stuff, if you're eating good things, you're going to become that. So diet yourself. And I'm not talking about doing anything crazy, right? Exercise, eat healthy. Those two things are connected really close together. Dieting yourself both includes exercising, where you're exercising for that physical exertion, but also when I say diet yourself, like I said, I'm talking about physically and spiritually. So exercise is part of diet. Okay? All right. Avoid anything that isn't wholesome. Okay? So actually, probably a better way to do this would be to just say, stay clean. Okay? This is kind of also, again, this is really similar to controlling thoughts and actions. So there is a connection here, an unbreakable connection, but staying clean is extremely important, because what is inside of you affects what is outside of you. So if you have a clean heart and a clean mind and a clean life, or a clean heart and a clean mind, you're going to have a clean life. That connection is unbreakable. It's bound together. So staying clean is part of that process of purification. It's part of that process of disciplining yourself, and it's part of that process of removing suffering, because you want to be that water that's flowing, right? You don't want to be stagnant water. And if you're dirty, and your lifestyle, your actions, your heart, your mind, if everything is defiled and dirty and you're not clean inside, it's going to be hard for you to experience a life without suffering, because everything that's inside of you is also going to be reflected outside of you. In other words, you guys, if you are impure, then it's probably pretty hard for you to build good relationships with people, because people want to build relationships with people who are sincere and pure, where they feel like that person has their best interests in mind. And if you don't, if you have ulterior motives, or if you have, unclean thoughts or whatever, then you're going to experience suffering. It's going to be hard for you to build good relationships. It's going to be hard for you to have a good life. So stay clean. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I don't have to get technical. You guys probably know for yourself what things defile you and what things are pure. And maybe you haven't thought about this stuff very much in your life before. Start observing reality and taking note of those things that you feel good doing and those things that you don't feel good doing. And pay attention and say to yourself, okay, this thing helps me feel spiritually whole and clean. This thing doesn't. This thing causes brain fog. This thing causes defilement. So you start to put the things that are important as a greater, or the things that are helpful and spiritually important as a greater importance in your life. So you just have to observe. Okay, this thing doesn't bring me close, this thing does. And you don't have to take only your own observations for it. Like I said, you can go study good books. You can think for yourself. But yeah, stay clean. So yeah, that's pretty much under disciplining yourselves. Self-discipline is so rare, but self-discipline is strength. Self-discipline is power. Self-discipline is self-confidence, right? Because nothing that's hidden, everything that's hidden will become revealed. In other words, if inside of you have all of these issues with being self-disciplined, you're living an unclean life, and then you go to try to be a good person, it's not going to work. Right? It's going to be impossible for that thing that you think is hidden not to be revealed. So yeah, you can't, it's like, you can't get, figs don't grow from thorns and thistles and stuff, right? the thing, if you're good inside, you're gonna bear the fruitage of being good on the outside. So you can't hide this stuff from anybody, okay? If you think that you can live in sin and try to hide that, it's like it's impossible to hide that. It's inside of you. It's part of you. That's why to really change, you got to change what's inside of you. The outward appearance isn't going to work. You can't just look like you're living virtuously. You actually have to be virtuous. You have to become virtue. And then as you become virtue, then yeah, of course you're going to produce good fruits. Of course you're going to be confident, happy. But if inside of you, if you know you've done a bunch of things wrong, it's going to be hard to be confident around other people. So you can't hide what's inside of you. Ever. Okay, live for something bigger. This is number 3. Okay, number 3. Live for something bigger. Okay? Actually, let's do this. So live for something bigger, you guys. Don't live your life completely bound to your own self. Like if your only purpose in life is to serve yourself, if your only purpose in life is for your own gain, then you're probably not going to experience a lot of joy, right? Like give yourself so you can find yourself. Lose yourself in the service of others so you can experience the whole purpose of life, which is to serve your fellow man or woman, right? This is pretty simple. So live for something bigger than you. If you don't have a purpose, then you're probably going to be thrown all around like a log at sea. You're going to be tossed at every single wave and every single wind, and you're not going to know where to go. So live for something bigger. This could be something simple. Maybe living for something bigger is you have a family and you have a business. And so your bigger thing as a man or woman or whatever is to either raise your family or run your business or, that's your bigger thing for you. Or your bigger thing could be maybe you want to go serve people in a developing country where they don't have access to the same things we do, the same blessings that we have here in America, where we have clean water, we have a bunch of things. So you got to pick what you want to live for, and it's got to be bigger than yourself. Hopefully it's something where you're able to serve people doing something that you actually enjoy, something that you can really get behind. So, yeah, let's talk about how to live for something bigger here. Number 1 is set a worthy goal. So you got to set a worthy goal. Like I said, if you don't know where you're going, you guys, you're just going to drift like a wind at sea. If you don't know where you're going, life will tell you where you're going. Okay? It's kind of that old saying where if you don't know who you are, somebody else will tell you. And they get to choose then who you are. So you better hope that somebody else is a good person. So set a worthy goal, because otherwise every other outward influence could send you in a direction you don't want to go. So that's part of living for something bigger. Something bigger is your worthy goal, hopefully. And number 2, make a list of values. So this is also part of living for something bigger. If you have a big mission, but it doesn't have love infused into it, if there's no values behind it, your mission could be, instead of something that will help remove suffering from your life and other people's lives, your mission could be something that ends up creating suffering. So when I say live for something bigger, I'm not just saying anything bigger. I'm saying a worthy goal, right? Worthy goal. And in order to have a worthy goal, then you want to have a list of values. What do you represent? What does your goal represent? Right? Do you believe in always being honest? Do you believe in always using integrity? Do you believe in service? Do you believe in kindness? Right? Set a list of values for yourself in association with your live for something bigger, in association with your worthy goal, and then it won't be empty. That thing that you're living for will be protected because those values will ensure that it's actually beneficial to yourself and the world, because you don't want to be wasting your time. You don't want to be doing something that isn't actually helpful, that isn't reducing suffering. Okay, so set a worthy goal, make a list of values, and make a plan. Making a plan, again, this is like meditation. Very few people in their life have a plan. They have things that they think they want, or they have goals that if you were to ask them, they'd be like, oh yeah, I want this or I want that. Some people do. But if you really get talking with them, they don't want it. Because if they wanted it, they would have a plan for how to get it. They're just hoping that by some miracle, something will happen to create the life that they want. And it doesn't happen, ever. Well, occasionally somebody might accidentally run into the place they're trying to go. But how many millions of other times do people not get where they're trying to go? Because they didn't have a plan. Because they let life create their plan for them. So this is almost nobody. Just like how I have only a handful of people in my life that I can say, okay, this many people or whatever practice meditation that I know. Is that rare of a habit that people have? Same thing is also true for making a plan. Okay, people have goals a lot of times. Hopefully they have them written down and they don't change them every day. People have goals, but they don't have a plan to get their goals. They're just leaving it up to fate. And when you leave it up to fate, you realize that fate doesn't just happen. Fate is created. It's up to us to make that happen, to make our dreams a reality. They're not going to dream themselves into reality. We have to believe them in to reality. Okay, number 4 on this list is persist. Persist with patience. Okay. Persisting with patience is so important. Once you know what you want, once you have a worthy goal, once you have a list of values that give integrity and substance to that goal, and once you have a plan so you know how to get to that goal, what roadmap you need to take, what route you need to take. Okay, well, you're thinking in your mind, well, to get to New York City, there's this road, but that road takes a really long time, but it has the scenic view. There's this road gets there really quick, but it doesn't have the scenic view. You have to see a lot of city stuff along the way. And so you're like, okay, well, I have a plan. I want to go the more scenic route, or I want to go, the fastest route, or whatever. You have a plan. Once you have all of those three things, then you really just need to persist with patience. Unless for some reason your goal isn't resonating with you like you thought it was going to, then you might need to change your goal and therefore change your plan as well. But hopefully not all the time, because you don't want to be shifting between a bunch of things. It takes time to build momentum to achieve your goal. So if you're feeling like you're not there yet, you might switch your goal too quickly, thinking it's not right for you. Okay, but if you have a good goal, you know where you're going, then you really just need to persist with patience and build momentum. And persisting with patience it's going to snowball effect. Like you're going to experience, at the start it could be slow, but you're going to experience momentum with persistence and patience. And that momentum will make it so it's kind of easy. If you're already going in the direction you want to go and you've got a little bit of a downhill slope, then it's easy to keep running. Think of momentum as like the incline. As you get more momentum, your incline decreases and it's easy for you just to keep going. You've got that momentum. You just keep going. Those who persist like for me, daily meditation is not hard. I just sit down and I do it. It's easy for me because for years I've practiced daily meditation, with the exception of a few days where I didn't. But for years I did it, and so I have that momentum where it's easy to do it. Well, the same is true for your worthy goals. Once you have momentum, it's just easier. It's easier and easier to do that. To do those things. So, under living for something bigger than yourself, we have set a worthy goal, make a list of values, make a plan, and persist with patience. Those things will help you live for something bigger than yourself. And again, living for something bigger than yourself will reduce suffering in your life and reduce suffering in other people's lives, and ultimately lead to liberation and spiritual freedom. So let's talk about these three things in order one more time here. And we're going to just erase everything we've had here, and we're just going to review and then call it a day. So, number one, seek truth. Okay? Number one is seek truth. That was the first thing we talked about today. Under seek truth, we have daily prayer and meditation, study high quality books. Like I said, As a Man Thinketh, great book to read, and observe reality. So, prayer, meditation, study, and observation. That's how you seek truth. And then number two, discipline yourselves. Discipline yourselves. Okay? Under disciplining yourself, control your thoughts and actions. What are you thinking? Is it helpful? Is it pure? Is it impure? Is it going to bring me closer to my goals? Is it wrong? Is it right? Control your thinking. And you don't try to control your thinking by forcing, right? But you learn to over time. Just as you'd learn how to drive a car better as you get more used to it. The same is true for controlling your thoughts. Okay, and then of course under discipline yourself, we also have eat healthy food. That includes spiritual and physical diet. So if you, again, taking in good spiritual things, eating good things, you become what you eat. Don't try to make any drastic changes, right? Don't try to change everything all at once. Just try to eat balanced, try to get better sources of your food, get higher quality meats, higher quality eggs, fats, more vegetables, less junk food, less processed, more water, right? Just discipline yourself in your eating over time. Get better. Exercise is number 3. Like I said, you guys, I put this on the list, but I haven't been to the gym in like 3 weeks. So you're going to have to forgive me for that. But previous to that, I had been there every single day, every single weekday for like months, like 8 months, or I don't know, 9 months, a long time. So I'll get back there soon. For now, I might just have to ride my mountain bike around. Number 4, avoid anything that isn't wholesome, okay? Basically on the fourth one, we just put stay clean. And yeah, that's clean. Keep your life simple, keep your life clean. Don't be defiled, right? Defilement is what we want to avoid. Again, think of a glass of water that is clean, where in the water you have perfectly clear, clean water. And then think of a glass of water that is full of mud and moss and dirt, and it's all ugly inside and dirty. And yeah, that's defilement, right? So you want to be free from defilement. And that comes from cleaning your life, from living a clean, healthy life. Okay, so last but not least on the list, number 3 is live for something bigger than yourself. Live for something bigger. Okay. Again, under this one, we have 4 simple things to do. Set a worthy goal. So you want to have something you're going towards that isn't just a goal, but a worthy goal. Something that, yeah, is worthy of your time. You know, you were given this gift of life and you only have so much time to live. So what are you going to do with all that time that's worthy of it? Set a worthy goal. That could look different for different people, but set a worthy goal. And hopefully it's helpful, right? Hopefully it's something that is truly valuable to you and to other people. Is, you know, just hopefully it's valuable. So, okay, number 2 under living for something bigger is have a list of values. So if you have a worthy goal, you want to infuse that worthy goal with substance, and you do that with values. So like the best companies that have ever been created in the world have a list of values, and that's what really made the company successful. It wasn't, it's not the only thing that made the company successful, but that's what infused it with life. So having a list of values is a great way to infuse your worthy goal with life. Honesty, integrity, you know, good business. You want to treat people well. You want to work things out. You want to never cut corners. You want to, right? Like for me, when I make a list of values, my first value is never make a bunch of money, right? In fact, when I make a list of values for my business, when I made a list of values for my business personally, I actually put that one of my values is to focus on not making money. So, and I didn't put it there in the sense that I'm not trying to make money, but I put that my focus was to bring value to the customers, to make sure my customers are earning money, to make sure my customers are becoming wealthy. Because I know if my customers become wealthy, I absolutely will, right? So have a list of good values. That list of good values is going to infuse your goal with life. Number 3, or the third thing under live for something bigger than yourself, is to make a plan. So a lot of people have a goal. Sometimes people even make a list of values, which is more rare. But the most rare thing that you ever see is it's the most rare thing ever for somebody to have a plan. Okay? Out of my own personal life, I know a lot of people that have goals, that have things they want in their life, but I'm the only person that I know of. I might have to ask around, but I'm the only person that I know of that has a written plan. And I'm not saying that to try to say I'm better than other people. No, I'm just saying almost nobody has a written plan. So they're not going to get to their goal without a written plan. It's just not going to happen. It's very unlikely. Okay? So if you're living for something bigger, you need a plan to get there. And last but not least, under living for something bigger, is to persist with patience. There's going to be times where you wonder, should I keep doing this? There's going to be times where you doubt yourself. There's going to be times where you have to push yourself a little bit, right? There's going to be days where you've done something you're supposed to do for like 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, and then that 31st day comes and you think, maybe I just won't this one time. Okay? And you do have to give yourself a little bit of room, right, to live a life that isn't so just insanely strict. But you gotta persist. Okay? Sometimes that that last day, that 31st day, is the day that gives you strength for the next 30 days. But if you give up on that last day, you might have 2 weeks after that where you don't do anything at all, really. So persistence, I'm not saying to overwork yourself, and I'm not saying to work frantically, and I'm not saying to be so strict that you're insane, but I am saying, you guys, every day you got to be persistently working towards your worthy goals. If you want to live for something bigger than yourself, then you have to continue to do that. It can't just be for a week. It can't just be for a month. It's got to be a lifelong journey that you've dedicated yourself to make. That you've told yourself you're going to do, right? You've committed to yourself you're going to do it. And that commitment really moves mountains. How many people like I said, how many people do not only these 3 things, but how many people commit to it? Okay? A lot of people might do these things once or twice. I know a lot of people that have sought truth for a period of time and then stopped. I know people that have started practicing meditation, started noticing the benefits, and then stopped. I know people that have started living for something bigger than themselves and then have stopped. Right? So this has to be a lifelong commitment to yourself, that you're going to do these things for the rest of your life. Because it's very rare. It's not rare that people have an aspiration to want to be like this, to want to do these things, but it is rare that somebody consistently and persistently does these things for the rest of their life, to the best of their ability. That's the kind of persistence that moves mountains. That's the kind of momentum that can really make it so you're able to influence a lot of people for good. But if you do these 3 things, you absolutely will be free. You will find spiritual liberation. You will free yourself from suffering. And you will find that life is actually a beautiful thing that can be really enjoyed and full of vitality, full of purpose, full of love, full of joy. Life can be a beautiful thing if we make it. But it's up to us to choose that, you know? So yeah, these are the things that do lead to spiritual liberation and freedom, and freedom from suffering ultimately. And obviously, you guys, I'm not trying to say that you'll never experience a single blip of suffering again, right? But I'm just saying these are the things that truly free a person, that bring the most joy, the most liberation that you can in this life. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. I love and appreciate you. If you enjoyed this video, then I'm glad you did. Not going to tell you to share it with your friends, but I will tell you that if you want a video about a specific subject that I talked about today, then go ahead and comment down below and say, hey, I want a video about this thing. I want a video about that thing, and I'll talk about it. So yeah, thank you so much again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in future videos. As always, peace be unto you.